Hello, I'm Dan. Welcome back to Vinyl Fury. It's been a bit, huh? It's been the longest time between videos, over a year, and I didn't intend for that to happen. And I was gonna do one before the end of the year, just so I could say that it wasn't a year between videos, but it didn't happen, and I knew I was gonna be in a new space as well, so I figured I would just wait until that was the case, and I was pretty much all set up in here, which I'm in the same house that I've been in going on 7 years now, but I'm actually in the upstairs room now. So this is the third of 3 rooms that I've lived in this house. It's the whole first floor. It's a converted attic, so it's a low ceiling, but it's a long room, and I got plenty of space to do stuff. I got my office studio set up here. I got enough space to just have a living room area, and then my bed is back there. Don't know how long this is going to be the case, so I don't know if I'm going to do a room tour video per se, but it's great. So, since I haven't done this in a while, I figured I would put some effort into it, and because I'm in this new space and I'm going to be doing more of this kind of stuff in here with the podcasts that I do. This is the first thing I've done where I've set up more than one camera, and believe me, that is extra work. One thing I didn't do is set up a couple of there's supposed to be photo lights. This kit that I got didn't quite have enough time to set that up today, but we'll get that going and we'll evolve. Hopefully there'll be a few of these this year at least. So in order to guarantee that, I'm actually going to break up what I'm filming tonight into at least 3 videos so that there'll be more than one drop in the bucket in 2020. So I do have some updates on, of course, a big update on the big podcast that I've been doing for years, that I've talked about a few times. There's a new one that's very special that I'm doing with my sister, actually. And that's a very particular kind of podcast. Some news about the band that I'm still in, and about the, hopefully, career path that I've been taking in regards to audio post-production as it pertains to music, actually. So I will do a couple of these vinyl update videos, and then I'll actually talk about all that stuff and about this new cartridge that I have, actually, in another one, so that we're not going to do a 30-minute video, break it up. And for those of you who don't really care about anything but the records, you don't have to watch that stuff. But we'll start with the records. So today, or in this video, talking about some folk indie music, starting with Phoebe Bridgers. This is called Stranger in the Alps. And this came out, 2017? Yeah. And I didn't really know about it until I'd heard her name, but it's not really the kind of music that I'm involved with, even though it is, a genre that I really like. I'm not into the scene, as it were. And her music is definitely more creative and intriguing to me than a lot of the music in that vein. Like, she's in a band with Connor from Bright Eyes, and I know pretty much nothing about Bright Eyes, and I've only listened to a couple of those songs, and they're okay, but this record I really, really like. I listened to it for the first time all the way through maybe 2 months ago. I was on a long walk and listened to the whole thing, and it's really something. It's very vivid. She's a great songwriter, and her voice is particular. and to the point where maybe some people just wouldn't listen to it based on her voice, even though they like the music. I'm sure that's got to be the case. But I like them both. She's a great guitar player, and it's mostly, pretty sad music. If I'm in the vibe, or if I just want to go to that place of like a Nick Drake recording or something like that, you could also go here. It's not, there's some levity. She's even kind of funny at times, but there definitely is a lot of lyrics about being down. And a lot of people can relate to that. And she has I believe a new record coming out this year. She just released a new single, which I've already listened to a couple of times and really enjoy. And it was a very nice vinyl pressing. I think it's an RTI. It's got the look with the sleeve and everything. Yeah, a great vinyl pressing. Not very expensive, less than $20. Highly recommended. Same with Lucy Rose, another excellent female singer-songwriter. And in this case, undeniably a beautiful voice. But also in the same sort of... she actually did one record where I think it was the goal to be more uplifting sounding and kind of get more into the popular music side of things, but she kind of went back towards a more understated vibe. This is Something's Changing, also came out in 2017. She's been very, very active the last few years. She put out another record last year called, I don't remember right now. I actually have it on CD. Hold on a second. No Words Left. I got this one on CD because actually after listening to this one, musically, sonically, it was very acceptable. It was good. But there was just a little too much surface noise for this type of music. Quiet mostly, piano, acoustic guitar, very dynamic. So when there's quiet spots, you don't want to hear, you know what I'm talking about. But I just listened to it recently, and I believe it was for the first time with this cartridge, which is the Audio-Technica AT 540 ml. I believe that's correct. Doing this on the fly. And it's a microline stylus, and it sounded better than it had before. So some of it may have been due to the needle that I was using at the time, which I will talk about when I go into the details of this cart, but it was better. The surface noise was still there, and I'm still glad that I got the CD for this, because it's even more dynamic. So I didn't want to spend, $22 or whatever just to have a similar experience. This was much cheaper on CD. Not sad I went with that choice. She also did a full music video for this record that you can watch on YouTube. It's the whole record played, and she moves from different sets depending on the mood and the vibe of the song. It's really, really cool. I'll leave a link to that as well. Lucy Rose, I really enjoy. This is her 4th album, I believe. I first heard her probably 6 years ago. She had a song on a TV show, and that rarely happens that I hear a song on a TV show. I'm like, what's that? But I definitely thought that when I heard Shiver. I adore that song from her first record. So I've been a fan ever since. Definitely check out Lucy Rose if you have not. And the big boy it's really not indie anymore. He's fairly big league these days. It's Bon Iver or Justin Vernon. This is the new one, I. And I enjoyed the last one quite a bit. I initially didn't buy it on vinyl. I got it on tape, but then found it on vinyl for like $10. So I went ahead and got it. And glad I did. It was definitely a great vinyl pressing, thick jacket, sounded great. And same thing with this. This actually has a clear slipcase, which has tons of art on it itself. And then a double LP. Again, a very thick jacket. Very nice presentation on this. Huge, 20-page, 25-page booklet. Some very cool art inside. I mean, this is where you get your money's worth these days, is stuff like this. And this isn't even that expensive compared to what we've been, unfortunately, getting used to price-wise on vinyl. I believe it's about $22 on average, as I recall. And that's definitely worth it. When it's a great pressing, which it is, it sounds great. It's very substantial physically. That's amazing. Printed inner sleeves as well. And comes with a 24-bit 48 kilohertz download card. So, I mean, you really have nothing to complain about that. And actually, it's a single LP. The other pocket is for the very large booklet. And the first record that caught my attention was the second one, self-titled. And one of those songs had a very strong Bruce Hornsby vibe to me. And Bruce Hornsby actually plays on this record, which is amazing. There's actually a lot of guests. There's kind of a collective formed around this band now. And there's very, very cool stuff going on. He's, in my opinion, doing it well. As far as getting Grammys, blowing up. And after that, kind of backed off for a while. Then came back when he was really ready to do it and has put out 2 more great records. I think this is better overall than the last. I look forward to listening to this again. But yeah, definitely a great album to have on vinyl. And yeah, that's going to do it for this one. I'm going to grab a few more. Even though it's been over a year, I think I have maybe a dozen records on the list to show for that time, which once upon a time I used to do this sometimes twice a week because I was going to record stores all the time, buying used records, ordering everything that I had even a remote interest in. And I just don't do that anymore. Actually, the collection in total is smaller than it's been in years because I've sold things here and there. A couple times I've just gone through and taken a couple crates worth down to a record store or to donate, to just really parse it down to what's really worth keeping in my estimation these days. And I've sold some records and I really didn't think I ever would, but I've kind of tried to dial down the importance of having this thing rather than the music. If I wouldn't pay $20 to have it any other way, then what really is the point of spending $20 on it this way? Especially, and I've talked about this, especially since even though there seems to be more pressing plants opening up, more labels doing this, more bands doing this, the quality control, in my experience, seems to be going down. It seems to be the rarity that you get something that really nails it like this. I mean, the Phoebe Bridgers That's a second copy because the first one I got was so warped, and this one is a little bit still. I mean, it just seems to be always something, and it's been years I've been doing this. I think coming up right on about 11 years since I started collecting records. And it gets frustrating, but I'm still here. I still very much enjoy it. And it's great to be back here to talk about it. And I am still watching videos from time to time. I still enjoy the vinyl community. That's why I do this. I'm not making these videos for YouTube at large. We could actually have a whole other discussion about how much YouTube has changed since I started making these videos, since the formation of this vinyl community, when it really was just this community. And, these incredibly photoshopped thumbnails that you see all the time. It's just like, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. There's a lot out there. All I'm really trying to reach is the people who have elected at some point to see it. And for whoever out there is interested, there may be a lot of, hopefully the vinyl community has grown. I'm sure it has. And also I've seen a few of the old guard show up in the recent past, which has been really cool to see. And I'm already making this longer than I wanted to. So cut it off here. Be right back with another one, a few more records. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your music.
So if